Poptropica has always been a special game in the hearts of many gamers, including myself. Even though the game is dead, as its website is now defunct, and as of right now it won't be receiving any more updates, it's still an important game to a lot of people. The game has recently made the complete move over to cool math games, so that the game can be taken care of by a more financially stable website. As I've said before, the Poptropica website is no more. If you try to type in poptropica.com in your search bar, the URL will just redirect you to the game's Cool Math page. Another sad thing about the move to Cool Math, again, like I said before, is that the game unfortunately will not be receiving any more updates as of right now. So unfortunately, Poptropica is officially dead. But hey, there's always Flashpoint. Hey guys, it's Neat One Up here, and welcome to my first movie review. But no, it's not a movie that you'd see in theaters kind of movie. It's a movie that a Poptropican made. Who's the Poptropican in question? Invisible Ring. We will be reviewing her battle morale movie that I promised to her that I'd eventually review. First, I'm going to summarize the movie, as it is a rather long movie, and most people I met didn't really like the length of it. Fortunately, I watched the movie from beginning to end, and I think I can give a pretty solid summary of it. Along the way, I'll give some comments on the movie too. The movie starts with Invisible Ring exploring the cave in Time Tangled Island, then heads out of the cave to encounter a bunch of Vikings that feel very nasty towards the current state of the islands. Wanting to show everyone how great Poptropica can really be, she sets off on an adventure. When I first started watching the movie, one thing I didn't understand here is why do you have to go on an expedition just to convince people that Poptropica is a good place to be? You can argue with people or conversate with people, but what's the point of traveling? I don't understand why she felt like she had to go on a boat and sail off, and she never exactly clarifies what this is. And so my expedition began. What expedition? What are you looking for? Actually, that's probably the wrong question to ask. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, expedition is defined as a journey or excursion undertaken for a specific purpose. She never really clarifies what this specific purpose is until later in the movie. Along the way, she meets more people who also feel hate towards the state of the islands. People even call her crazy for thinking that she can, quote, save Poptropica. She later finds out that globe hacks, some video game natural disaster from my understanding, is the thing responsible for most of the islands getting wiped off the face of Poptropica. And the events that she hints at in the video obviously imply that globe hacks in Poptropica is supposed to be the shutdown of Flash in real life. She eventually finds out that the leaders of Poptropica and the people who are responsible for rebuilding the islands from Globehax's disaster were Amelia and the Red Baroness. They get into a quarrel, Ring splits them up, screams at them, makes them apologize, and they promise to work together more nicely from now on, thus concluding Ring's adventure. Some adventure that was. Most of the movie was just her either talking to herself or talking to someone else for long periods of time. These long portions of dialogue really kill the flow of the movie and make it really slow and boring to watch. Speaking of the dialogue, a lot of times, most specifically at the end, the colors of the text can blend in with the colors of the background, making it very annoying to read at some points. Like, come on, Ring, either pick a different color or add an outline to your text like I do to divide the text colors from the colors of the background. Another thing about the dialogue is that I don't think she words herself as well as she probably wants to. The "are she blows"? Girl, what? Ring, you do realize that, the "are she blows" is something that pirates say whenever they see a whale, right? Like, there's not really a whale here, nor could there possibly be one, it's a pond. In addition to the dialogue not really being up there are also a few typos here and there. This is just a minor nitpick though. Granted, I am also guilty for letting typos and editing mistakes slip into my videos, but I think if she spent a little more time proof watching the movie, these could have been easily evaded. Said editing mistakes is exactly why I'm changing the way I edit my videos, and I spend more time in the editing process watching the video back to see if there's either a mistake, as I mentioned earlier, or there's something interesting I would like to add to it. In addition to the mistakes in the dialogue overall makes the movie boring. I tend to play YouTube videos in the background while I'm doing something else. This movie? You have to actually watch it and read all the text in order for the movie to actually make sense. If you try to play this movie in the background, you'll just end up hearing a repetitive soundtrack. Speaking of the soundtrack, the songs in this movie are honestly not my cup of tea. Yes, I know it's music, it's very subjective. I might be the only person with this take, but honestly, for me, almost every song in this movie is just boring. Like, look up the definition of boring and you'll get this music. The title of this movie is Battle Morale. There's no battle that takes place here. How are you supposed to film a quote battle in Poptropica? Heck if I know. But why would you title your movie Battle Morale if there's no battle or fight that takes place? Besides elongated arguments, of course. Is it because the amount of morale you need to revive a dead Flash game is the same amount of morale you need to win battles? And if that's what Ring truly thinks, that this has now become a fight to bring this game back to life, I think she's escalating this goal a bit higher than it needs to be. Bringing me to another aspect of this film that pops up every now and then, her comic. She basically made this comic after she left the Poptropica Help Chat Discord, and in that comic, she basically describes the Poptropica community as a bunch of haters and pessimists. She tries to convince them that Poptropica can be great again, and then they start lashing out against her for seemingly no reason, which is how her comic made it seem. She sent the comic to me over Discord. I don't have it anymore as she sent it to me on an older account that I deleted. But I do still remember the plot of the comic. And when I came back to the community for the first time in like 2 years, I found out that they were lashing out against her, not for no reason, not because she was trying to defend Poptropica, but because she got exposed for being homophobic. Yes, I know I'm kind of exposing her here, but I thought I'd speak up about that to let y'all know that what happened in her comic was not completely true to what happened in real life. Moving on. So, does this movie have a theme? If it does, I don't think it goes well with its plot. Just one Poptropican is all it takes to make all the difference in the world. I'm sorry, but there ain't no way I'm about to believe that saving a dead Flash game by making the devs work more as a team by basically throwing a temper tantrum is going to, quote, make all the difference in the world. Look, it's nice to see how dedicated Ring is towards Poptropica's future, and I highly respect that dedication, also the dedication to compose this movie. I know that this movie was not easy to make. However, I think some things should be seen with higher priorities than others. That's just me. Are there any good qualities I can point out about this movie? Well, Ring's dedication to saving Poptropica is a common theme throughout this movie. No matter how many times she gets in arguments and disagreements with people, no matter how many times people call her crazy, she keeps her head up throughout this entire movie. I'll give her props for that. If that was me, I'd immediately give up all hope the moment someone tells me something like this. So, I guess to answer my question earlier about this movie having a theme, I guess I could say perseverance? And I can see that the end credits contain the names of a lot of other Poptropicans who helped Ring put this together. So she probably isn't the only person who thinks these thoughts and has this much perseverance. So to wrap this up, I bet you could see this verdict coming. But I don't think this movie's worth your time. The movie is very long and contains tons of dialogue that you must read in order to understand the movie. The music's very bland, the plot is kind of meaningless, especially if you have a title like Battle Morale. Like, seriously, it would have been kind of cool to see some sort of boss fight or something. I'm just imagining things. And when I watched the last few minutes of the movie where she's on the beach, I honestly believed that she was kind of experiencing a false sense of accomplishment. But that's just me. Would I recommend this movie to just anyone? No way in heck! A modern day Poptropica enthusiast? Probably, but I feel like only those people, and people who just really enjoy Invisible Ring, can have actual fun watching this movie. And to be honest, even for those people, I used to be a modern day Poptropica enthusiast when this movie dropped, but I didn't watch it all the way through until I made myself do that for this review. I didn't think it was worth my time, and I was right. Goodness, that's an hour and 40 minutes of my life that I'm never getting back. Sorry, Invisible Ring, if you're seeing this. I was probably too tough on this movie, but that's genuinely what I thought of it. I did not have that much fun watching it. It was just really boring. As a matter of fact, the reason why it took me so long to get this video up was because the movie was so tedious to watch. I knew that if I were to make a review for this, I would have to watch a good chunk of the movie again, if not the whole thing. This video should have been out 4 months ago, before 2024 even started. That's how long I've been putting this off for. Anyways, I saw that you made a sequel to this movie. I don't know if I'll make a review for that. If you guys want to see a review for that movie, let me know in the comments. Maybe that movie will be better than this one. Or maybe not. I haven't finished watching that movie, but I'm like a few minutes into it and I'm already bored out of my mind, so... I guess another positive of this movie is that the music in this movie is good music to fall asleep to. Thanks for watching my first movie review. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a dislike. And if you want to see more of my content, please consider subscribing if you haven't yet. I also have a Discord server in the description if you're interested. And I shall see y'all in the next video, or in the Discord server if you decide to join it. Until then, peace.